Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, by leaving 2 comments, or by subscribing if you have not done so already. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Excuse me in advance if any of my comments during this video sound a little annoyed. A lot of the news floating around is quite annoying, which of course we're going to go over. But I think we are back at the nonsense level in the cryptocurrency space. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Bitcoin's price has been climbing over the last couple of days. For those of you who may not have been here, maybe you've been typically doing some other things during the course of this time. Bitcoin's price was around $48,000. It rose to $49,000. We kept on getting news that it was going to hit $50,000. It finally hit $50,000, and the news was that we needed to hit a $53,000 price of Bitcoin in order for its market cap to go over $1 trillion. We hit 52,000, finally hit 53,000, and then we pumped up a lot higher to around, I think, $56,000, $57,000, something like that. I think last night we were very close to $59,000 per Bitcoin. I believe that's the time frame and the numbers over the course last week, give or take. We are currently in the midst of a people who understand what supply and demand means, and other people who are simply regurgitating what other people have told them. And I think it makes them feel better to kind of say things like that. The news on both sides, it says Bitcoin's price climbs above $58,000. Why bulls could aim for $60,000. Sorry. This seems completely logical. As all of the news, you may have noticed over the last couple of months, we had a very particular set of news within the cryptocurrency space. Even if we just focus on Bitcoin for this one particular argument, it's that institutions are buying up Bitcoin. Banks are buying up Bitcoin. And I've said this thousands of times before, and I'm sure a lot of you have rolled your eyes. Doesn't actually matter. The point being is that we are not in a 2017 hype cycle. There are many similarities to 2017, the new people who are trying to get into the market, the people who've been messaging you, who have been asking. You may have even purchased more Bitcoin than you previously thought you were going to purchase before, because you were like, this feels like 2017 and I want to follow the rush up. And the rush up did indeed happen. In 2017, the main catalysts with a gigantic S were everyday average people, which they call retail investors, who got into the market. They saw a quick, easy way to make money. We had the ICO hype, we had the XRP hype, we had the Ethereum hype, we had the Bitcoin hype, and these people rushed and bought as much cryptocurrencies as they possibly could in order to become millionaires, because that was all the news that we had back then. All the news within the cryptocurrency space was, I'm a Bitcoin millionaire. He could be a Bitcoin billionaire. Could eventually there one day be a Bitcoin trillionaire. That was, you can really find it. That was basically all the news. And it was this kind of hype cycle for people who weren't millionaires, who weren't even hundreds of thousandaires, sitting there going, I also want to be extremely rich. I'm going to put my money into the cryptocurrency space. What we've had happen since the end of last year is institutions have gotten into the mix. These are very wealthy. I don't even dare use the word prestigious, because that's kind of pretentious, and these people aren't that prestigious. They're just normal people who have a lot of zeros in their bank account, who've been buying tons and tons of cryptocurrencies. And more so, they've been buying Ethereum. We know that part, but they've definitely been buying Bitcoin. The frenzy that we currently see keeps being called madness. I don't think I've had them in many of my videos, because I would have ranted for an hour and a half and it would have had a conniption. A lot of well-seasoned investors, either those who made their money in copper, who made their money in gold, who made their money in real estate, who made their money by exploiting other human beings, have been coming forward the last 2 weeks basically saying Bitcoin's garbage, Bitcoin's trash, it's clearly overbought, it's clearly over so-and-so, you don't understand, people are going to get wrecked putting their money into this. And then if you look back even further, you can tell that these people have been saying the exact same thing since Bitcoin was around $8,000, like during the current run-up. Bitcoin fell down to 3,000. They all felt vindicated. This is it. I told you it was going to crash. Bitcoin's price started going back up, and they didn't understand why Bitcoin hadn't gone to zero. So they kept on making sure to say in the news, well, you know, it's definitely going to go back down to 3,000 again. It hits 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. a correction is going to come. There's definitely going to be a correction. Bitcoin has to go back down before it can go back up. Which is something that I focused on in one of my other videos. I don't know which one. I make thousands of videos, not an overstatement, where basically we had news that when Bitcoin hit 12,000, that the next step was 14,000, and from there we would skyrocket up. There were many, even people within the cryptocurrency space, and this is why I don't believe that a lot of people who are into crypto are actually into crypto. I think a lot of these people are secretly, maybe not secretly, bears, I will call them. People who actually don't believe, and I dare even use that lightly as well, as far as like believe in Bitcoin. It's not a deity. It's more so an idea. They're simply there to try and make money off of their cryptocurrency YouTube channel to make other people believe that X. And the point is, the idea was that if Bitcoin's at 12,000, we're going down to 14,000. They kept on saying, well, Bitcoin has to fall back down to 3,000 to really show that we are going to have a massive bull run. And I said, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Bitcoin have to fall down by $9,000 to prove to you that Bitcoin's price is going to go back up? We had the same exact news. I'm sure you remember this. When Bitcoin was around $18,000, and the news during that day was Bitcoin looks like it's aiming for $20,000. What was all the news that we had? Bitcoin has to fall back down to 12,000 because that's a support level. That's where Bitcoin has to go. And Bitcoin hit 20,000. We didn't hit 12,000. Everyone was like, well, there's still going to be a correction. There was no correction. I think we hit 24, 25,000 and slid back down to 21 or 22,000, which is completely normal. The cryptocurrency market is volatile. There are going to be tons of people who are going to be selling. My friend had to remind me of this about a day or two ago. I said, I think it would be foolish. This is my personal opinion. This is just me. This is how I deal with my own money. I said, I think it would be completely foolish for anyone to think about selling any of their Bitcoin ever. That's just me. And I was saying, especially once we hit 100, I said, especially once we hit 100,000, it's clear that once we hit 50,000, 100,000 is coming. A lot of people have sold off their positions. The price has moved back up, and these people have made no money. Now they're furiously trying to get back into the market to buy as much Bitcoin as they had before. And that will never happen because Bitcoin's price has gone back up. He was saying there are tons of people who do want to buy homes, who do want to put money down, who do actually need money for other things that I simply can't think of in my head because I live my own life in a certain way and therefore I'm not in their current circumstances. That's completely fine. But to say that Bitcoin has to fall back down to a certain level because this is happening or because so and so because your chart indicates that a certain thing is going to be taking place is absolute nonsense because it's been disproven so many other times before. I told you about this. There's multiple websites, but there's one really famous one. I think it's called Bitcoin Obituaries or something along the lines of that. Sorry if I'm talking too fast, by the way, as well. And it basically explains and shows every single time that there's been a website or been a person or been an article or been a discussion or been a podcast or whatever about saying that Bitcoin is done for. Bitcoin's going back to zero. Bitcoin's going to so-and-so. And this is why a lot of times whenever we get news from either Warren Buffett, Munger, or I think his name is Peter Brandt. No, not Peter Brandt. Peter Schiff, the gold guy. Basically continuously saying that Bitcoin's going to go to zero. I roll my eyes into the back of my head until I simply can't see anymore because it's absolute nonsense to think that any of that is going to happen. Like, what world are you living on? That's my opening thought for this video as a just an FYI. A lot of the news is floating around that a lot of coins are getting ready to pump or are starting to pump. We're getting a lot of DeFi pump news. XRP, for some reason, it says XRP rallies 20%. Why dips could be attractive. There's no real XRP news at the moment. There's Ripple news, which we're going to go over as we progress through the video. But no actual XRP news, and I'm not really sure exactly as to why it's happening. Bitcoin is currently, I hate this microphone cord. Bitcoin is currently down by, I think, 0.28%, roughly somewhere around that number. Ethereum is the same. They're doing like that sideways downward kind of thing where they're not really down, they're not really up, but the price is just trending sideways. And XRP has shot up. No real news as to why, in case anyone is looking at XRP's price and wondering why the heck is it going up. Now, here's what I was talking about. I saw an enormous amount of articles today basically mirroring what you see on the screen. It says Bitcoin Weekly Outlook. Overbought fears persist despite corporate boom. There's a lot of news, there's a lot of talk right now about Bitcoin being overbought and being over this, and the metrics are showing this, and that Bitcoin has to correct, and that Bitcoin, once again, we are not in 2017. The rush that you see to get into the market, these are not people who are simply buying up Bitcoin so that they can sell off a portion of it or sell off any of it or sell off all of it when they decide to, because they're trying to buy a new car, because they're trying to buy a new Honda, or they're trying to buy their girlfriend a new engagement ring, whatever the actual thing might be. We've had news and indication for a very long time that it's been about a good 5 or 6 months now, and it makes me not annoyed to say this to you, but it's more of a that I have to put this back out there, that the people and corporations and entities and banks and governments who are buying right now, they're predicting the end of the US dollar. The US dollar is the world reserve currency, and it looks like it's going down. That's not a tinfoil hat moment. We've had news multiple times from banks that has leaked to us that tell us that this is going to happen, that this looks like it's shaping up to be that way, and this is why we continuously have news that people are selling off their gold to be able to buy into Bitcoin. I explained that in another video. The entire idea is that Bitcoin's price is too high. And when I said that these people are simply mimicking what they've heard other people saying, the only people who are saying this are the people who did not get into Bitcoin when it was $100. And these people in their own rights, in their own industry, are titans. They are titans of petrol, oil, whatever word you decide to use, of gold, of copper, of real estate and other things. And they swooshed off Bitcoin for so long, kept on saying, no, it's a bubble, it's going down to zero, even since Bitcoin was $100. And when you say this enough in the news, this is how you scare people. I just watched a little documentary last night. Very fascinating. You can find it. I'm sure there are hundreds of them similar to it. Basically talking about diamonds and why diamonds are rare and who, the entire idea is that in the early 1900s or late 1800s, people in I want to say it was regions of Africa and also South America basically figured out that they could dig into the ground, and they found these jewels. They were very pretty, but not many people wore them. You could sometimes sell them as jewelry and stuff like that, but it was never really a thing. So what ended up happening was that they realized they kept on finding more and more of these things. The same exact way you can find more and more of gold the deeper you dig. And they were like, we have to figure out a way to make sure that this looks a certain way. So they started fear campaigns, basically saying, no one else can mine this except for us. And it was very brutal. People were doing things that they should not have been doing to try and take over the entire market. And once they had cornered the entire market, they basically figured out a way to start ad campaigns to basically let people know this is gorgeous, this is precious. They showed it in Disney cartoons, they showed it in Looney Tunes, they showed it in any type of silent movie that they had back then. It was always an image of a guy giving a woman a ring, her being completely overjoyed that she had this ring. So what ended up happening was basically to, end this entire thought is that they started campaigns to make sure that people were basically, because what happened was people were buying these gorgeous, beautiful rings, but eventually the people were like, it's kind of nice. I think I'll sell it for something else because I know that it's worth a lot. But then the secondary market became completely flooded with all of these diamonds. So they started telling people, and it became more of a thing. They kept on referencing Marilyn Monroe's like diamonds are a girl best friend kind of thing, where they kept on telling men, if you want to buy her a diamond, you have to make sure that it's a brand new diamond. So it kind of shows how, like, I guess propaganda and all this other stuff is, but it's been happening within the cryptocurrency space for so long as well, where basically, remember the entire time we kept on talking about all the major banks, specifically banks, and especially JP Morgan Chase, where every single day they were in the news talking about how bad Bitcoin was, how terrible Bitcoin was, how Bitcoin was going to go down to zero. And I was like, I have a really strange feeling that they're into Bitcoin. Why would you spend so much? They were focusing so much energy on the word Bitcoin. I was like, why aren't they focusing on gold? Why aren't they focusing on real estate? Why aren't they focusing on stocks? There's so many other things that they could be focusing on, but they're specifically going towards Bitcoin. And lo and behold, since then, all the times when they were talking negatively about it, they've been into Bitcoin, bringing it all back. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of this overbought, prices falling, technical analysis, so-and-so stuff is coming from these people who did not get into Bitcoin, who are either, it's one of two ways. It's either people who did not get into Bitcoin, who are trying to make the price fall so that they could buy more, or people who are already into Bitcoin, realizing that they could also say whatever they want to put fear into the market, which we spoke about before when Bitcoin was around $30,000, the amount of fear that was trying to rush into the market to get people to sell. And we had two of those instances where the prices did fall. You remember this? Prices fell by whatever significant amount, yada, yada, yada. Fell by a good 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. Day and a half later, the price had popped back up. And the news that we had both of those times is that all those coins that had been sold were bought up by institutions. It happened twice in a row. And I kept on telling people, and I even jokingly said it on Twitter as well. I was like, every single time that you sell, they buy. That's not a joke. So the current fad that we have right now is that Bitcoin is overbought. Crypto analyst who accurately called Bitcoin collapse says top could be near. Here's his new forecast. That's absolute nonsense. Just a quick number. Once again, this is not a situation where normal people are buying up all the Bitcoin. It's the institutions. This is probably the last. No, that's a lie. I was going to say the last time I'm going to say this. I'm going to have to regurgitate most of this by Friday and or next Wednesday should we have another dip in price. 900 Bitcoin are created per day. The news that we've constantly been getting is that there are at least 3 companies who are buying up all the Bitcoin. This article is from November of last year. PayPal bought 70% of all newly mined Bitcoin last month. There was another article that stated that PayPal had bought, I think, twice as much Bitcoin that was being actually mined and created per day. We know about Grayscale. It says Grayscale purchases $600 million worth of Bitcoin in 24 hours. There are 900 Bitcoin created per day. They bought 16,244. This was the end of last month when this happened. This is happening every single day. This isn't this is why I said it's about people who understand supply and demand and people who simply are just concretely ignoring it in their best possible way. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. All the Bitcoin that's out there, it's being purchased, it's being bought up. Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin through Coinbase over the counter. They gave them $1.5 billion. Coinbase said, here is $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. It did not touch their cryptocurrency exchange. That's why prices did not move. They're continuously buying all the Bitcoin every single day, all the time. They are trying to make sure that you sell off your Bitcoin either because they want to make sure that they are right and that gold prices go up, or trying to make sure that you sell your Bitcoin so that they can buy it up and that they can become richer. Bitcoin looks like it is going to be poised to become a worldwide currency, bigger than gold. It's definitely on its way. Now imagine selling that. Imagine there's only 21 million pieces of gold and someone scares you and you sell it off. And then 5 years later, you have no gold, but all the gold that you sold was sold to them. That's what's currently happening. There are going to be corrections, which is another term that I hate because it assumes that something in Bitcoin's price must be corrected. I think even this article right here, it says something that Bitcoin has to fall back to $20,000 in order for us to achieve a brand new high. I'm not sure what chemicals people are ingesting. Maybe open up the window in your home so that you can get some fresh air flowing through because something's clearly not working with your brain. I don't even say this as a joke. I'm not really sure what makes people say these things. Remember, even when we hit $20,000, there were articles floating around saying from very prominent YouTubers as well, which also makes me really upset because people hear this news and they take their word for law. And they go, well, he said that I have to do this. They sell off their Bitcoin, assuming that Bitcoin is going to go from $20,000 to $3,000 per coin. Sell off their coins. Bitcoin hits $25,000. They can never, ever have that much Bitcoin again as they had before. And this is every single day. We know that at least 3 or 4 companies are buying up 900 Bitcoin each, minimum, per day. 900, 16,244. 900, 16,244 in a single day. So anyway, oh yeah, also we can throw this one in here as well. The Canadian Bitcoin ETF that we were talking about a couple of days ago, I think within 2 days, the ETF, so the fund that is actually directly investing in Bitcoin, was worth raised $400 million within 2 days. And it's expected by this Friday to hit $1 billion. This Friday, not next Friday, like this actual week. Now imagine what happens to that fund over the course of a year. How much Bitcoin and assets under management do they actually have? While Grayscale and PayPal and Square and MicroStrategy are still buying more. I understand, once again, that we are going to have dips in price, that there are going to be people who sell. There may even be, and I told you this before, there may even be situations, if I had 50,000 Bitcoin and I sat there looking at the price and I was like, I want to buy an island, I would probably sell off a portion of it. So that these things do actually end up happening, but the vast majority of people who are in the market are not selling. We've gotten news reports from banks that next year, Bitcoin could be $600,000. And within the next 5 to 10 years, that Bitcoin could be $1 to $5 million. Who is selling their Bitcoin? People are trying to get you to sell off your cryptocurrency so that they could buy more. Why are these institutions buying up so much Bitcoin if Bitcoin's price is going to crash? Do you think they are going to allow Bitcoin's price to fall back down to $20,000? You are absolutely delusional. Hyper delusional. Like, you are not even on this plane of existence that we are on right now. And I mentioned this before to a lot of other people. Whenever we had any type of crazy dip in price, remember I mentioned before and I kept on having the videos and I was like, did you buy the dip? Because that was it. Because people kept on saying, Bitcoin's 42,000. I can't wait for it to drop back down to 20,000 so I can buy some more. Where? When? Why would that happen? Why would Bitcoin drop back down so low? If we went to 1/3 the current price, if we broke past the 50% barrier and falling down, that means Bitcoin's in trouble. Something is wrong with the network. The most logical one that I've seen floating around, and this is also meant to be negative, but not as negative. It says Peter Brand wants you to be prepared for corrections on the road to $200,000. Understandable. It's clear that Bitcoin is going to continue rising in price, but along the way, we are going to have drops in price. That's the most logical one that I've read all day. You would not believe the amount of other articles that I saw. Fear. If you could just write the words FEAR on a website and just send it out to people, that's basically what it was. This analyst says that it's going to this. Why these coins could be in trouble. Bitcoin looks poised for a deep correction. Why Ethereum is going back to $800. And I'm like, wait, what? Where are you living? Anyway, I warned you at the beginning of the video, it might get a little bit intense. I hate stupidity. I hate when people don't think logically. And I know that it's not people's fault in general, but it's this kind of like prevalent fear that they make sure to push into the markets. Why were banks so adamant years ago about Bitcoin and hating Bitcoin, and all these banks are into it? All this news is meant to make you afraid to sell off the asset that you have that is going to be worldwide. Why do you think we keep getting rumors? Remember the thing that I even showed you the other day? I'm pretty sure it was Nigeria. I know I always forget the country. Don't judge me. Where they basically had a Senate hearing and they were like, our currency's worthless. We can't stop Bitcoin. Imagine they said that out loud. Imagine the other 50 countries who feel the exact same way, but they just simply haven't said it out loud and put it onto their Twitter. So, I know you get it. I know you understand. Just want to make sure that it's really concrete in your mind where all of this is going. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. All the Bitcoin that is left is being purchased in mass. And this is still when we have 900 Bitcoin per day. There are definitely more than 900 people on the planet who are buying a Bitcoin. Like, even think of individuals. It's not just institutions. There are also very rich people in many other rich countries, in Singapore and Dubai, Jersey, Gibraltar, London, maybe even Paris, probably even Tokyo, who are allocating money to buy a Bitcoin per day. Anyway, I don't even know if this is the exact same one, somewhere around here as well. Anyway, that's all the nonsensical news, if you will. So stupid. I woke up and I was like, why is this everywhere? Why? Who's making sure that this news, and even more so, it's the actual cryptocurrency news websites who make sure. I'm sure they're doing it for clicks, but you don't understand the actual the energy that you put out there is kind of the energy that you kind of force onto other people. If everything you give is negativity over the course of a day, I don't think it's coordinated in some sort of way through all the cryptocurrency news things, but I know that it's meant to be clickbaity, but it's like, you have to also keep in mind what you're doing to other people. You're scaring people to sell off their money to be pushed into the hands of the people who are already super wealthy. I've been mentioning that since Bitcoin was around $1,200. I was like, keep in mind. Remember, I had a video 2 years ago. It said, don't be fooled. Bitcoin or crypto is going to make a lot of people very rich. Remember that video? See how it came true? Anyway, that's all that news. And let's move on. Bitcoin is now more expensive than a kilogram of gold. At its high of $57,705, a single Bitcoin is worth more than a kilo bar of gold. Is anyone surprised? No, you shouldn't be. I told you this was going to happen before. We're going to get to a point where the news is Bitcoin is worth more than 2 kilos of gold. Bitcoin's worth more than a ton of gold. That's probably around 5-10 years down the line, but you kind of get the point. We've had news for a while that banks have been selling off their gold. Institutions have been selling off their gold. Remember around 3 or 4 times that we had these gold bulls who came forward in the news and said that we were wrong? Bitcoin is definitely going to overtake gold. Think of that. Imagine having made $150 million in gold and then coming to the realization and saying out loud, I was wrong. It looks like gold's price is going to continue dropping, and therefore I now have to buy into Bitcoin. What more can I say? Bitcoin is now worth more than a kilo of gold. And that's going to continue happening. It's going to continue rising. Let's move on. The amount of Ethereum last active 2 or 3 years ago has just hit a 9-month high of 16 million Ether. This is according to data from the team at Glassnode, and they shared it through their tweet. There's a tweet right there. Amount of supply last active in the last 2 or 3 years, 1 day, okay, just reached a 9-month high of 16.8 million Ether. The amount of Ether that has laid dormant for 2 or 3 years is roughly 14% of the total supply of around 114 million Ether. Furthermore, the dormant Ethereum is valued at $32 billion using Ether's current value of 1928. I guess the news basically being, I see these also popping up as well. We had metrics like this for Bitcoin over the last year or so, basically talking about this amount of Bitcoin hasn't moved in 5 to 10 years. A lot of it being considered lost and gone forever, or simply being held by mega whales, or the other part of it being the amount of Bitcoin that was being purchased and being put into accounts that had no outgoing transactions, but only ingoing transactions. So we're starting to see this for Ethereum as well. The metrics of the coins that are circulating, that aren't circulating, the amount of stuff that's being locked up in DeFi, the amount of stuff that's being locked up in a staking platform. I guess everyone's just really trying to get the numbers together for a more accurate view of how much Ethereum really isn't moving per se anymore. And I assume these numbers have been known by institutions for a while. This is why we had the news that Grayscale purchased $350 million of Ethereum like 2.5 days ago. Cool. I assume this number is only going to increase. You know what's really weird as well? We still haven't gotten any additional news from Vitalik Buterin. Maybe this has been proposed once again, but I'm not on those forums. Vitalik proposed about 2 years ago actually stopping the supply of Ethereum, like basically cutting it off, saying like, nope, we reached the cap, surprise kind of thing. But what I think it's going to end up being is that they mentioned before that there's going to be like a bit of a burn, kind of how XRP burns coins during the transaction. Like as transactions are happening, XRP gets burned. There was a proposal for that. I assume it's coming as well during Ethereum 2.0, where basically as transactions are happening on Ethereum, a small supply is burned and it ends up going with the amount that are created with the burn, so basically kind of leveling it off. So therefore no new Ethereum actually enters the market, and it's kind of like what you have is all that's there, if that makes any sense. Anyway, that's the Ethereum news, if you will. Also, what's the word? No, that's not it. Siding? No. Anyway, this is very similar. Siding? This is very similar to it as well. Today, 13,204 Bitcoin left Coinbase for unknown wallets. That's just over $750 million at the current price, according to Whale Alert. A separate 36 transactions were made, each valued at between 351 and 391 Bitcoin between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. This article made me really upset because somewhere around here, where is it? This person made sure to write in their article, it could be an over-the-counter desk reshuffling its wallets. It could be a Bitcoin not quite billionaire moving cash to cold storage, or it could be a money laundering scheme. Why add that? What does your article, how do you spice up your article a little bit more by making sure to throw in that something within the cryptocurrency space could be illicit? What do you get from that? What do we get from that? What does anyone else who might be a regulator reading that, what do they get from that? The other point also being, if you've never used Coinbase or a cryptocurrency exchange where you, first of all, stop it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever read in my entire life. If you've used Coinbase before and you've tried to take money off, you have to show them an ID. You have to show them proof of address. You have to show them all these things. I'm almost certain someone taking off near $1 billion worth of Bitcoin from Coinbase probably isn't an average Joe who's like, I'm going to take this out in several hundred transactions, so they have no idea what's going on. There have been people who've been stopped before for trying to take out $500,000 from their Coinbase account. There's actually even a couple of fail safes on different accounts. I'm pretty sure it's on Kraken and on Coinbase, where if you are trying to, if you take out too many transactions at once during the course of a day, they freeze your account and they contact you and they go, we want to make sure that this is actually you. So I'm certain that this was nothing illicit. Why? I don't understand. Why do people put these things in their articles? Why do people release news to make sure that there's negativity within the cryptocurrency space? It doesn't logically make any sense. It's like, imagine, no, never mind, because I can go into a whole different tangent, but I don't want to go there right now. The point being, we've been getting news for the last couple of weeks that there's been tons of Bitcoin being taken off of cryptocurrency exchanges. It's probably some institution. Do you think a normal person or persons, two whales, withdrew $1 billion from Coinbase and they were like, I want to buy a new ranch? No, it's probably an institution. They're buying up tons of Bitcoin, which we've heard from before because I've made videos on it. And they take that Bitcoin and they lock it away. They put it into mountains. They put it underground. They put it wherever they decide to put it. Because that's what's been happening. That's the trend that we've been getting consistently over and over. Anyway, that's more Bitcoin keeps leaving cryptocurrency exchanges. This also happens every single day. People forget these metrics. And then we start getting news that Bitcoin's price is going to go down. As opposed to, let me logically think, if all the Bitcoin is being taken off of cryptocurrency exchanges, it's not just Coinbase, it's all of them. They're all losing their Bitcoin balances daily. And we have institutions who are buying up all the Bitcoin. We constantly have new people getting into the cryptocurrency space who are mining more and more Bitcoin. These people aren't selling off their Bitcoin. These people are buying up the Bitcoin. They're mining the Bitcoin to have it for themselves. But no, Bitcoin has to go back down to $20,000. That's the thing that makes the most sense. And I say it in such a heavy tone to let people understand people are trying to make you afraid to sell your money. These tactics have worked many other times before, even for real estate. You are told that your neighborhood is so-and-so. You start hearing stuff on the news. Your neighborhood's full of crime. It's written by this. It's from so-and-so. You sell off. And then 5 years later, these people who are in the news, we actually bought this property. This happened a lot of times in the States. Remember the early, mid-2000s? People sold off their brownstones. It's only worth around $300,000. The area is not that good. I can give you cash for it. You can give me cash for this? Yeah. I saw an article one time. I don't know if it was in the New York Times. It was insane. This guy purchased a brownstone from some family, whatever. I think he paid $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. The day he wanted a quick close. He said, I want a very quick close, less than like 10 days. Bam, blah, blah, blah. They signed all the paperwork. That day, he re-put it back on the market for, I think, $1.8 million, and it sold that same exact day. These people want you out of the market. These people don't want you making money. They want you poor. We went over that with the GameStop thing. How dare these poor people try and get into our market? Anyway, that's the Bitcoin is rare news and is getting rarer. And let's move on. Now, here's the only Ripple news that I could actually find to maybe explain why XRP had shot up in price. Blockchain-based payments firm Ripple is now registered as a business in Wyoming. According to records from Wyoming Secretary of State, Ripple Markets WY LLC status as a local business is listed as active after an initial filing in February of this year. After a limited liability company in Wyoming Ripple's registered agent will be based in Cheyenne. I assume that's pronounced Cheyenne. They said more crypto companies are realizing Wyoming is a better domicile than Delaware or probably New York or California or Florida due to our crypto-friendly laws. Caitlin Long is the CEO of digital bank Avanti and Trust and associated with the state. She said that crypto firms like Ripple should consider relocating to Wyoming due to the state not having any corporate or franchise taxes and cryptocurrencies being exempt from property and sales tax. I would probably move to Wyoming just for those 4 things and start a crypto business. Anyway, that's all I could find. Maybe the speculation is that Ripple is moving to Wyoming because they're tired of kissing the ring of New York. I don't know why anyone thought New York has such high everything taxes. Have you ever seen, for those of you who don't know what an HOA fees is, it's a housing something authority. I can't think of the word in French and German. It's Hausgeld. Normally in other places, like your monthly tenants association, whatever fee is around like 80. Like even in Paris, if you own property in Paris, my place is like 70 euros per month or something like that. In New York, it's like 1,500. Why would you do anything in New York? It just doesn't make a lot of, like an actual 1,500. Like, I'm not joking. There's a website called Zillow, Zillow. Go on Zillow, look at stuff in New York and like New York City, and make sure to look at like how expensive things are, and also like the HOA fees, how much they are per month. So the point is, we had rumors before that Ripple was going to potentially leave the States. They're not. I think they're far too sheepish, and that's the word I'm going to use to ever actually do it. They're hanging on for something, and I'm not really sure what. I don't know if they think that their business will flourish the most in the United States. They've had so many potential openings to just leave and go somewhere else, to go to Japan, to go to India, to go to, I'm sure, South Africa as well, to go to many other places to try and thrive within Europe. But for some reason, they're sticking to the States. So I assume this is just speculation at this point, that they're moving to Wyoming to make it easier for them, or who knows. And then besides that, there was also news. It says Japanese giant SBI Holdings plans to form a joint cryptocurrency venture. This is the only other thing that could be XRP-esque. There's a gigantic bank in Japan called SBI. They have many other subsidiaries and many other banks beneath them. SBI holds a percentage stake in Ripple. And also they mentioned before that they planned on using XRP. SBI also has their own cryptocurrency exchange, and I think XRP is one of the main base pairs. So I was trying to connect the dots, but there was nothing finite. It was kind of me reaching for straws, and this is what I don't know. Anyway, XRP is up by like 20%. No real news as to why, but that's all the Ripple news that I can actually find that kind of made any sense. And here's the actual article for this right here. They got the news from Reuters. And here's the actual article from Reuters. Let's move on. Sure, why not news? I don't know what that picture is supposed to be. It's a glowing orb with a star in it that is producing lightning in a box. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Anyway, so the point is, Morocco's central bank is apparently thinking about launching their own central bank digital currency. They're probably going to do it. Usually when we get an announcement like this, it's because they're working on it, not because they're thinking about potentially working on it. They probably got the thumbs up or the go-ahead from the International Monetary Fund, because otherwise, and the World Bank, they wouldn't have been able to do so, because that's how the banking cartel actually works. They tell other people what you can and can't do, and then they end up being able to go and do it and release it to the public because they were asked. They had to ask mommy and daddy. And I don't mean that to be cynical. That's how it works. You can look up the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. You have to go through them if you ever want to do anything. So Morocco is going to be launching. They're going to be launching. It says they're looking to. They're going to be. I give it 2 to 5 years. Launching their own central bank digital currency. It's going to fail. It's going to fall apart. These are just digitized versions of fiat. These aren't anything new. They're not going to. They're not going to be finite. They are not going to do anything against Bitcoin. They're not going to be anything Is scrupulous the word I'm looking for? Scrupulous is probably not the word that I'm looking for. They're not going to hold any weight against Bitcoin. They're going to be the exact same thing that we have right now. Money is basically already digital. When you go to a store, when you swipe your card, when you tap your card, when you use PayPal, when you use Square, when you use this, when you use so-and-so, when you get into a train station by tapping your phone, money's basically already digital. They're just trying to find another way to actually properly digitize it, to completely get rid of paper so that they can know all your transactions at any given time. That's the entire reason for it. We had news from Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase last year. There was some type of a Senate hearing or something like that where they basically explained, like, yeah, we want digital payments so that we can track payments more. That's the entire reason for it. It's going to be the exact same thing, just with a brand new face, and it's going to be digital fiat. So they're going to launch this. It's going to be just as bad, the same as all the other countries who are making digital versions of their own thing. When the US dollar falls, these will also fall. And then we're going to start getting news that they're all buying into Bitcoin because that's how it's going to work. Anyway, so Morocco is considering launching a central bank digital currency. And apparently Bitcoin has been banned in Morocco for 4 years. Bitcoin still continues to thrive there. I wonder why. People are buying Bitcoin because the US dollar is being devalued. Imagine the other currencies around the world who were already garbage before. Of course, people are still using Bitcoin there. It's an open, decentralized network. You can't unplug it from a wall. That's not how it works. And let's move on. And to finish things off, British crypto firm BCB Group has launched a new service that is dedicated to assisting corporations that want to add Bitcoin and other digital assets to their treasuries. BCB Group founder and CEO Oliver von Landsberg-Sadi, what a name, believe that many companies that are interested to venture into digital assets are at an unprecedented, that many companies that are interested, okay, I didn't read it wrong, it's written wrong, that are interested in venturing into the digital asset space at unprecedented levels of central bank money supply. Okay, whatever. That the whole sentence is messed up. Anyway, the point is there's a new company, a British firm called BCB Group, who was looking to basically be, I guess, the next Grayscale I guess it would be more Grayscale than MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy is like, just for me. I think this is the second or third one that we're hearing from in the last couple of days. This isn't, they're not the only ones. There are a lot of companies who are popping up right now who are trying to become digital asset managers, or help people to get into the space, or custody it for them, and all these other things. Because Grayscale is the biggest. I assume they're always going to be the biggest. They are very close to being able to have a million Bitcoin on their balance sheet, which is incredible. But yes, another company has launched to help other corporations and entities. Understand, this is not a one-trick pony. I don't even know if that's the kind of thing that I'm going for. This isn't just one company doing this and one company doing that. It's not just PayPal. It's not just Square. It's not just MicroStrategy. It's not just Grayscale. It's not just JP Morgan Chase. It's not just Visa. It's not just MasterCard. It's not just even Uber and Amazon talking about, we're thinking about getting into the cryptocurrency space. They're all into it. They are all buying Bitcoin. All of them. Every single one. Understand that. Do you think, remember we had the news? It was about 4 days ago when Tesla purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. We had news from Mexico 2 days later. I forgot who it was, some securities or whatever. He was like, yeah, tons of Mexican companies are all trying to buy Bitcoin right now. Do you think it was just one Mexican company? Or do you think it was like 15 at the exact same time? Do you think only 3 German companies were like, maybe Bitcoin? I'm not really sure. Or do you think it was like hundreds of them who sent out letters to try and ask regulators, is this okay if we get into it? Do you think it was one French company? Or do you think it was several? Do you think it was one Italian company? Do you think several? Do you think it was one company in all of Africa? Or do you think it was hundreds of them who were like, we need to start putting some type of money into this right now, even if it's just $50,000 a month? When Bitcoin hits $1 million, I don't know if I'll live stream. I don't know what I'll do. But I think I'll just have a video where it's just me going over all the things that I wanted people to completely understand over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. For those of you who have been making astronomical sums of money, I expect nothing from you. And I mean that this is why whenever I get new Patreon members, I really say thank you. Like, I really mean sincerely thank you. Because you are supporting me when you don't have to. You are helping me when you do not have to. I made this channel so that everyone else would understand. I grew up poor. I did not grow up with money. I had nothing. Me and my mother were evicted from our apartment multiple times. Many times we had to go live with my grandmother. We had no money. We were poor. I made this channel to make sure that no one else ever has to go through that. And I mean that sincerely. I have chills right now. You do not understand. When I saw Bitcoin, I was like, I have to tell everyone about this because I know exactly where this is going. It took a couple of friends years to get into the space, understand where all of this is moving to. Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million. I don't care if you don't believe me or not. People told me I was stupid when I said Bitcoin was going to go past 10,000, past 20,000. When I remember years ago when I said Bitcoin is going to hit 50,000, just be patient. Where are we right now? There are people in this world who are trying to get you to sell off your Bitcoin, and there are other corporations who are trying to buy up as much Bitcoin as possible. All the major banks on the planet are trying to buy up tons of Bitcoin. We have mega companies worth billions of dollars who have changed their entire tune on Bitcoin and changed their entire business strategy. PayPal's business strategy was swapping US dollar equivalents or euro equivalents back and forth. They integrated Bitcoin rapidly and made billions of dollars from it. Do you think PayPal is going to be the only one? No. Understand where all of this is going and do not be left behind. I want everyone. I know that I've seen other cryptocurrency channels. There are other channels. And I mean, when I say the word hype, it is hyper hype. These channels tell you to invest in this coin and that coin and put all your money into this and so and so and so. And they get like 180,000 views in a day. My videos maybe get around 30, 40,000, which is pretty good. Not too terrible. It's actually a lot better than I was doing before. I want everyone watching this to become wealthy. And I mean, like, I want you to be able to buy multiple houses. I want you to be able to buy whatever you want. And I want you to have so much passive income from crypto or staking or whatever you want, so that you can live out your entire best life. And I mean that sincerely. That is why I have this channel. And this is why I get frustrated, because I want to make sure that you understand that these people are trying to get you to sell the rarest asset on the planet. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbite University, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Barebones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Nita Miracle, Crypto Style, George Montoya, Wiselink, not TMI, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damian Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test every day. And Kyle keeps skipping leg day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mark Trainer Staff, ArfMedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. There are more and more every single day. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to everyone who has liked the video. New subscribers, hello. Thank you to everyone who has clicked an affiliate link or has purchased something from an affiliate link. I do thank you for your clicking. I don't know what word to use there. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you to everyone who's still watching me right now, even after my long, angry old man shaking my fist ramble. Bitcoin is currently at 56,194 US dollars. See, it's like sideways up, down, kind of that thing. It is currently up by 0.14%. Ethereum is at 1,876. It is down by 2%. Binance Coin is up by 4%, because why not? They all follow the exact same pattern of Bitcoin, except for Tether, because Tether's, Tether. XRP is currently up by 15.5%. We'll see what happens as the day ends up going on. Wow, excuse me if you heard that. Hope you didn't. Anyway, Lumens is up by 5%. Dogecoin is up by 5%. OKB is up by 24%. All right. Chain token is up by 65%. I need to start looking into the things to see if it's the Wall Street bets people, because a lot of these coins, upgrade or not, a lot of these things aren't being like hyper used and or hyper accumulated. So a lot of these pumps, I'm kind of like, wonder what's going on. NEM is up by 15%. EOS is up by 3.3%. Huobi token's up by 3%. Anything else? Luna is up by, geez Louise, by 28%. For whatever reason. 69 million trading volumes, and that's if you have 30 million to throw into that, you can easily pump its price. Solana's up by 6%. Everything else is majorly red because Bitcoin dipped down. Bitcoin dips down a bit. The altcoins dip down even further, but we'll see where the rest of the day takes us. Most of the world isn't even awake right now. I woke up so early and I was like, why my body do this? So I decided to make a very early video. But when the rest of the world does wake up, we'll see where the prices go. Kusama's up by 10, and BitTorrent token is also up by 10%. I guess some people got a little upset at my video yesterday because no one's using BitTorrent token. Stop it. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are. Wherever you might be on this crazy planet, I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. Always keep in mind there are going to be price dips in Bitcoin, but just follow the trend. So sometimes we will lose money, but other times we will also make money. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.